Yo, what's up, Blackish fam? It's your boy B coming at you with another reaction. We're continuing to check out the artist Tobe Nwigwe. I'm going to be going through the originals, hashtag Get Twisted Sundays, as what's posted on these videos. And the reason I'm going to highlight Tobe is because he's very different with his work. It's not just lyrical, which I love, but there's a meaning behind it. And yo, I can get down with some of the best new hip hop and all the greats, and I appreciate something ratchet every now and then as well. But yo, I just crave that knowledge that somebody like Toby spits, and I just love that movement where entertainment meets education, and he's trying to combine the two. So without further ado, I want to get to "I Choose You." Again, Tobe Nwigwe. It's under the originals. Let's get right to it. Of course, I hope he's got the lyrics here to break it down, but we'll be breaking down the bars too. I like the production behind this, the originals. Well, singing or what? Kind of reminds me of like wedding vows almost. Like I choose you.
My biggest problem is I don't believe the concept of in love. In college I was with Whitney. When she kissed me, I felt in the heavens had descended upon me so strongly. I was wrong, B. She came from the Big Apple, wrong tree. I kind of sometimes feel like that was God.
The Big Apple is sometimes referred to as New York, right? It's just another name for, you said, yo, she came from the wrong tree, right? You might have needed someone that was more
affecting me. I got with fat and low-key, she changed the trajectory of my vision. Supernatural circumcision from selfish ways, I'm on a mission. But to be alive, I said I never felt this way, I have before. But this love thing just ain't no grab and go, you have the pole. Everything inside I pray don't hit the floor, simple as that. This just ain't real, this ain't fictional. They make no medicinal and make love seem conditional, but it ain't though.
You know, he said Dodie, and I just wanted to break that down. Dodie, you know, it's basically weed, right? Marijuana. It goes by different names in different parts of the country, just like soda pop, right? It's either soda or it's pop. In some areas, people just say Coca-Cola, and it's meant to be just a general name, almost like, yo, give me a Kleenex. They're not talking about a tissue branded Kleenex. They're just talking about a tissue, but it's branded as such, right?
I was wrong, B. She came from the Big Apple, wrong tree. I kind of sometimes feel like that was God perfecting me. I got with fat and low.
Yo, you never know. And I'm not a big religious person. I've struggled with faith my entire life. But you never know. You know, I think about that Andre 3000 verse. Who heard that verse on with Kanye? It was supposed to be on the Donda album. And man, Andre 3000 comes through and he goes, "Hi, Miss Donda," right? He's talking to Kanye West's mom. And he says, yo, don't think that Donda, your mom, isn't here just because she passed. She might not be communicating with you the way that you think she is, but it could be a baby's laugh, right? It could be a baby's laugh and a baby carriage going by. He said it could be an itch you feel when you've been laying on the grass too long. It's her telling you to get up. You've been sitting for too long. And I think that's so beautiful, the way, man, Andre 3000, we got to get into some more of his work. It's just beautiful the way he writes, right? And listen to what he's saying. He's saying, yo, I've been in love before, but it's different. And I think we need to get away from just saying that, man, you can only love one woman in your life. It's like, no, you can love different people in your life. One would argue that over time, you can learn to love anyone. But there's certain people that change you, whether that be for good or for bad, right? Or better or for worse, which I think is another play on the words that he's saying. right? Not just the marriage, the nuptial agreement, right? But they can put better or worse into your life and your perspective of the world.
Okay, she changed the trajectory of my vision. Supernatural circumcision from selfish ways.
Supernatural circumcision. What's a circumcision? If you're circumcised, it means your penis doesn't have that little hood, right? It can't throw that little hoodie on and peek out, right? But circumcision, and some, if you're Jewish or depending, it's like a transition of manhood. They do it when you're a teenager. Then in America, most people do it when the baby is really young, so there's limited pain and discomfort, and you don't really remember it. And it's easier to clean your penis and whatnot. Enough talk about the dick, as Bernie Mac would say. But it's so deep what he's saying, right? He's talking about changing the trajectory of his vision, and just change the way that his approach is.
I said I never felt this way. I have before, but this love thing just ain't no grab and go. You have to pull. Everything inside our prayer don't hit the flow.
You have to, if you love someone, right? It's not just about fighting to win them over, but it's also fighting to keep the relationship relevant, right? People are constantly changing just as time and everything around you is changing, even though you might not see it. And the same happens with emotions, your perspective on the world, especially as you hit past that 25 stage. You start moving in different directions, right? So it's important to keep pouring into that and try to get a common perspective and just know what you're working towards or why you're doing this. You're not just doing it because people said that's how you prevent being lonely, right? Being married. It's make sure you're doing it for the right reasons.
But it's that. This just ain't real. This ain't fictional. They make that with medicinal and make less conditional, but it ain't though. Really. It's perfection. Even if it's like Anthony Hamilton's beard and come through in sections.
Anthony Hamilton, coming from where I'm from. That's one of my joints, man. We're going to definitely have to react to that or do a review of that. Because that's my hit, that coming from where I'm from. Deep.
The blessing is the fact that it's the choice perception. In the wrong direction has the power to destroy your essence. Check your reflection, make sure that it's cool. For your protection, learn yourself before you learn in school. That you ain't adequate, truthfully, I'm an advocate for these savages chasing these objects that be inanimate. I wish that I could give them something way more. It's hard to get your gift from God when both your hands is full.
Woo! Bro, so much knowledge there. Listen to what he's saying, right? He's like, man, I wish you learned and studied about you before you study in school, right? You learn, your brain is being filled with all this stuff, and we don't even question the authenticity of it, right? Or the why they're looking to pass along this narrative, right? They said, understand who you are first, right? So many black and brown people, you talk to them, and you go back in history, and what is it? Slavery. Right? My great grandma was a slave. She moved to Mississippi. She moved to Alabama, and then we met. Man, you are so much more than just the descendants of slaves. Africa was this beautiful, thriving, intelligent community for centuries. Right? You think about the legends of Timbuktu and the universities and the libraries and people coming from all around the world to learn about religion and learn, get knowledge, right? Timbuktu had some of the best libraries in the world. Like, when they tell you you are descendants from kings and queens, it's not just some street stuff. Like, no, a little nigga, he's my king. No, you are the descendants of a great people. There's so much more that we need to learn about ourselves before we start learning what it means to be African American, right? What it means to be black, what it means to be a Chicagoan, a New York person. You don't even know your own history, bro. And he's like, how can I wish I can give you something tangible, right? I wish I could pass this on some way, but your hands are full. Or some would argue your cup's full, right? You're already full with the BS from around the world and what you think success is and how you define cool, that you still think that being knowledgeable and intellectual is not cool in class. Think about that. Who told you that, right? Who benefits from that? If we had a bunch of young brothers that were like, yo, man, when I get big, bro, I'm going to go to Harvard, bro, and I'm going to change the world, bro. I'm gonna prevent cancer, bro. I'm going to do it, right? I'm going to read blogs every day. I'm going to write raps about it. But, yo, I'm going to do it. I'm going to get a scholarship. I'm going to do it. Yo, I'm going to be a mayor in Chicago because they don't know what they're doing, right? Or I want to be involved with, but why is it everybody wants to be a rapper? Right? Everybody is like, yo, you're not all cut out to be rappers, bro. It's a competitive game. It's okay to rap as a hobby, but man, and not a dig on anybody who's pursuing their dreams either, but yo, there's got to be balance.
Your pettiness, acting and Eddie, slack up on brothers, always make raindrops fall down the heaviest love. Stand under something and hope.
And unfortunately, I think it goes over most people's heads that aren't not just extremely knowledgeable, but might not take the time to research this. Like, listen to what he's saying, and I'll bring it back just a few seconds, but he said Ed, and Eddie, right? You're acting like that. No, Ed, and Eddie, it was an animated comedy television series, right? And it was about this group of kids that were collectively known as the Eds, who live in this suburban cul-de-sac in this fictional town, right? And, they're under the unofficial leadership, they're basically trying to come up with schemes to make money. And they're basically trying to buy jawbreakers, right? It's a form of candy. But their plans always fail, right? It's kind of like the Roadrunner and the Coyote, right? And they find themselves in hilarious but humiliating predicaments. And think about the Black experience compared to that. And one would argue that we're doing the Ed, and Eddie when we're doing things that are foolish and make us come off a certain way, all on the chase under the disguise of trying to get money in the world so we can justify it. Yo, that's
I'm just
deep.
being adamant. I wish that I could give them
A
something
little
way
more
more
tangible, right?
It's hard to get your gift from God when both your hands is full. With all your pettiness, acting and slack up on brothers, always make raindrops fall down the heaviest love. Stand under something.
When you got nothing to protect yourself from the BS, you get a hit and those feel the heaviest, right? Man.
And hopefully it'll help you understand that everybody black on the inside like roaches cans. Keep your composure, be careful how you approach a man. Pigs can't smell the odor of slop to know they grosser than most people, but ain't no one fit.
What he said, pigs, they're fed slop, right? He said, what did he say? Pigs don't understand the odor, so they don't understand that they're being fed slop. They don't know any different, right? Listen to that.
Hands. Keep your composure, be careful how you approach a man. Pigs can't smell the odor of slop to know they grosser than most people, but ain't no one picture perfect on easels. Don't hate nobody, be godless, for that poison is lethal. My cousin got locked back up, that boy on the sequel. The penal system got his penal gland smothered in fecal.
Ooh. The penal system, right? The justice system got his penis smothered in fecal. Right? He's out there smashing dudes, smashing that ass. Yo.
Got his penal gland smothered in fecal matter. I'm still squashing all the chatter though. The thotties try me, I dodge that bull like a matador.
Wait, what's a matador? Where he has that red, what did he say? En garde. No, not en garde. What's the word? What's the matador say? The dude in the little stupid hat like I got, and he's got the red, and he's trying to get the bull to rush you. Ha! Right, he flips it. He says, man, I dodge bullshit. You can miss me. These hoes out here trying to get me, and I'm dodging that shit like the bull. You know, a little funny, low-key knowledge. Some of the most useless knowledge in the world. But, in fact, a lot of people don't know this. I bring this up, and people think I'm lying, but bulls are mostly, or you would say partially, colorblind. They don't even see the red, so it wouldn't matter. People say, oh, he wears red, and it gets the bull angry. Well, they can't see red. They really only see yellow, green, blue, and violet colors. Think about that. The world has lied to you for many, many years about all types of stuff.
For the bags go my quota way past the status quo. That's why I
run that back.
I just try me, I dodge that bull like a matador. For the bags go my quota way past the status quo. That's why I got my heart in the end like a Navajo.
Ooh. In the end, like the Navajo, he said, yo, I've had the baddest chicks, right? what's the status quo, right? What is, I got the baddest chick now. I got fat, right?
I got nasty flow.
Indian.
Tell me brothers take a backseat, I'm they chaperone. From the back straight to the track.
A chaperone, I don't know if they still have that. I think so, but that was somebody who was to help teachers basically rule the classroom, or they would be at the school dance, and they used to have a ruler stick, and they would say, yo, you can't get any closer than this ruler. Then a monitor to make sure your hands are where they're supposed to be, right? You're not over there making out with a girl getting fresh, right?
That's where they have to go. No coding, no metro, I'm moving to my casket clothes. I should rap some more, but I have to go. R.I.P. Ali, but I'm feeling like Cassius though.
R.I.P. Ali, right? Who is that? That's Muhammad Ali. But his original name was Cassius Clay. When he joined the Nation of Islam, he said that the Prophet, I believe Elijah Muhammad, if I'm not mistaken, helped open his eyes. And he said, yo, I have a slave name. He said, who was Cassius Clay? At some part in my history, my people, my family were probably owned by a family that had this last name, right? If your name is Washington or whatever, that's not your history, right? That's not your name. What happened was slaves took the last name of their slave owners. So his argument in the Nation of Islam told him, like, yo, you are basically celebrating and continuing the name of this oppressor. And that's why he changed his name to Muhammad Ali. That's why you got people like Malcolm X, right? Some people in the Nation of Islam that have changed their name because their eyes, they feel, are now open, and they basically they woke up, right? They understand, like, yo, the world around me is a lie, and there's so much more of it that we can explore on this channel. Have you ever seen the actual world map and understood that world map is just completely inaccurate? And then you start to think, why is it inaccurate? Why are they trying to make you think a certain type of way? Are they trying to show the U.S. as this huge part on the map so they can show the power, demonstrate their power in the world? And let's look at it. How is Africa? Do you know how big Africa is? What do you think of when you hear Africa? What do you think it looks like? A lot of people think there are lions and elephants attaching each other and people walking around with no shoes and rings in their mouth. And yes, that might be one part of Africa. But there's so much more of a metropolis, right, of education and business that goes on. And think about why they make you think the world is this way.
Should rap some more, but I have to go. R.I.P. Ali, but I'm feeling like Cassius though. Rope a dope, then go for broke like hooking laterals. Holy mackerel, my flow should be international.
Ooh. Yo, we said ooh at the same time. Now I know why he said ooh. Beautiful, man. Yo, that beat is sick too. You got them county blues on, right? Yo, sick. I like that. Man, again, there's a feeling when I watch his music, I feel like I'm at church or something, right? I'm getting knowledge. I'm speaking someone that we speak the same language and we're understanding. And it's like, man, it's so hard because a lot of times when you're a person that thinks a certain type of way and it's outside of the box, you're looked at as somebody who's not just different, but depending on your circle, as someone who's crazy, right? And it's always crazy until you get it done, right? It's always crazy. Back in the day, I tried to start a business back in the early 2000s, and it was going to be on the college campus, and you had to park so far from the dorm rooms if you were, a new member in the university. So after hours, it didn't make sense to go get your car and go on a Taco Bell run or McDonald's run. So what I did was I wanted to create a business, and it was called Midnight Munchies. And what we would do is I would have a fleet of students that also need to make money, and they would be out on the streets running errands for people, going to go pick up cough drops, right? Going to go get coffee, go getting a pizza, because they're lit in the building. They need to go out and get munchies, right? And everything around you is closed. And I approached a few people about this, and, you know, unfortunately, it's not something that we pursued. And now we see something like that with Uber Eats, right? And back in the day, people were like, man, that's crazy. It's good. People aren't that lazy. People aren't that lazy. It's like, yo, there's a need. You have to fill it. So, man, always go with your gut, right? It's always crazy. It's a crazy idea until somebody does it. Look at Elon Musk, right? Look at Amazon. Look at Jeff Bezos. Look at people that are changing the world today. And, yo, I hope our community and people of color can just help guide this next generation to be something better. Man, if you're a fan of positivity, change in the Black community, change for brownish and blackish people of color, and don't forget to like and subscribe. We're so much more than lyrical breakdowns. We're getting to this real talk too. Come get this knowledge, right?